What's going on YouTube? As always, my name is Kevin or Kevster, and welcome back to MW4. Today I'm going to be showing you guys the best class setup, the best controller settings, and overall the best graphic settings to run on this game, just so you guys are ready for the upcoming open beta this Friday. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alrighty, going right onto my controller settings. So in this game, I don't know what it is, but I usually run a 1.7 on 𝐦𝐤𝐤𝐿. But on this game, you just want to run something a little higher, and for me, 1.085 just seems to do the trick for me. It just feels exactly like, you know, 1.07 or 1.70 on 𝐕07. It's basically 7 sensitivity if you want to look at it that way. I could be entirely wrong in terms of the actual like decimals and the ratios, but it's just what naturally feels better to me. I also play on a Battle Beavers controller, so my custom button layout, I jump with my X, my left button, and then I slide with my R3, which is tactical essentially, and then I shoot with my front bumpers instead of my back triggers. Moving down, I play with no vibration, dead zones, which I think is the most important, but also the most, you know, controller to controller setting. My left stick minimum is at a 2, my left stick max is at a 75, my right stick minimum is at a 2, and then my right stick max is at a 99, and my left trigger, my right trigger is at a 2. Moving on to aiming, this is a really good important setting right here. You want to make sure it's set to instant rather than gradual, because when you load onto the game for the first time, it's going to be on gradual, and you want it instant because the moment you ADS, that's when essentially your aim assist, I guess, activates, and if it's on gradual, it won't fully activate until you're fully ADS'd, essentially speaking. So make sure it's instant. My aim response curve type is set to dynamic. I've always run dynamic ever since the modern Call of Duties, but you know, if you feel like an older gen type of person, or you like Apex or whatever, try linear or standard. You know, I have custom sensitivity turned on only for sniping. You know, for my 6, 8, 9 or high zoom scopes, I have set to 1.05, but the rest is set to 1.00 on the front zooms, and obviously the iron sight 2 times, and you know, so on and so forth. Moving on to movement, sprint assist, I have this set to on, and then my delay is set to 0. So essentially speaking, you're able to, I guess, move your front stick forward and you'll just regularly sprint. And then I also want to make sure, you know, you're on hybrid or either tap to slide or slide only. I play on hybrid just because it just feels better, but I know slide only also feels pretty good as well. And if you do slide only, just make sure, or I think you only do this on tap to slide. If you do tap to slide, make sure it's set to short, and then you move it back to whatever you want it to be on. So I play on hybrid, but still make sure it's set to short. You get the least amounts of delay, and it feels buttery smooth when you're slide canceling. Automatic airborne mount zone. This is usually off. I've been running the mobility course, which I have a video on that pretty soon here. But yes, I have usually that off. I definitely recommend that off. Slide and maintain sprint, and make sure you want this on. Essentially, it makes your slide canceling a lot better. You slide cancel, you get right back into your sprint. On 𝐕07 and 𝐕06, we had this turned off. But on this game, it just runs better, feels better. So that's what we use. Moving advanced settings. So again, another big important thing right here. If you are running, like I said, automatic sprint, I definitely recommend single tap run or single tap sprint. I had double tap because I'm not sure whether the GAs are going to allow us to use single tap sprint or single tap run. And I guess in older MW games, they made us use double tap. So I'm just using double tap just so I'm used to like the idea of it. But, you know, you want to make sure that's set to single tap run. Ground and mantle, you want to make sure this is also off. Again, this is on because I'm doing the mobility course. I was trying to get the highest score, and that, you know, that's another thing I can show you guys later on. But yeah, that is basically the settings for my controller. Combat, there's nothing really much else right here. Everything is set to natural. Moving on to graphics. So I play on full screen exclusive. I don't know why it's on borderless, but I definitely recommend full screen exclusive. And these are my graphics settings. This is my graphics card, a 3070 Ti. You know, I have background shader preloading on, aspect ratio set to automatic. You could probably do 16:9 wide, but I just have set mine set to automatic. Moving all the way down, I play on, but I do recommend doing on plus boost. It just recommends on what you would prefer on your, you know, I guess your benchmark on your game. Moving down, you want to make sure this is set to actually, yeah, the custom, off, and then unlimited. Now, usually I have mine set to like 144, but unlimited's the wave for now, at least anyways. It hasn't really done anything really bad to me in terms of performance, so that's what I have mine set to right now. Moving down, render, menu resolution, native, regular, you know. Moving on to quality, right over here. I'm just going to run through these. You could, you know, it's positive if you guys want to. I play on NVIDIA DLSS. I make sure performance is on. My sharpness is at 90, and then my DLSS model is at transformer. Same thing we had in BO7. Moving down, again, you could just pause this. I'm just going to run it through right here. All this is either low or off settings right here. On-demand texture streaming, I definitely recommend this being at minimal, and then set to 16, set to download limits on, and then set to a 1.0 download limit, daily download limit, so you're not lagging, doesn't give you packet burst or anything like that. And then all of this is just, you know, copy if you guys want to copy it. And then onto FOV, I play on a 98. I've been running 98 since probably MW3, and it just feels really good. Again, it's just personal preference. I know some people that play on 100, 105, 115, 110. You know, I play on 98. I used to play on 103, but I don't know, 98 just been the wave lately in the last few CODs. Enhanced FOV, you want to make sure this is off. You lose a lot of FPS when this is on. I don't know what it is exactly. It gives you like a fish lens type of view, and it just doesn't look good. So I recommend having this off. First person camera movement, I have mine set to minimal, 25%. This is like the least amount of camera shaking everything you can have in the game. I definitely recommend it. Moving on to audio. So I use IEM, so I have mine set to pretty low here. Standard audio settings, basically headphones. Configure frequency, I have this set. I'm not going to go through it, but basically whatever's on your left ear, it should be in the same thing as your right ear. So feel free to copy these settings. This is what I run on mine, and this is what, you know, it's been working. Again, you're gonna hear something weird, but yeah, same thing what's on the left, I'm gonna use on the right. All right, on to the class setup. So I have 3 class setups for you here, guys. You know, I want to make sure you guys are good and ready to go by the time the open beta starts, and whether you guys have these class guns, you know, leveled up or not, you know, you're gonna get to level up a lot of these guns over the next weekend. So I definitely recommend the Han. It feels really nice. This is what I'm currently rocking. This is basically reminds me of the 𝐴IMS. I do believe this is going to be the CDL class setup. I don't believe it's going to be the M4. I feel like that's going to get 𝐥𝐢𝐤 because it's just so broken. But I definitely recommend using this. I run the light barrel, the flash hider, the last one, angled grip, the SZ Prima 4-dot. It's basically a mini reflex. And then the ammunition high velocity. Moving on to the sub. This is 𝐥𝐲𝐬 sub right here. Again, same thing essentially. I do believe this might be the submachine gun for the CDL. I could be completely wrong. We really don't know what other new guns are going to be in the full launch of the game. But usually though, during like, you know, for the last 3 years, every gun that's been CDL meta has been in the beta. So I'm just going to give it a guess, you know. This is what I'm rocking. I am currently rocking the long barrel, the flash hider, parabellum, overpressured, tactical grip, and then no stock. And then moving on to our last and final class setup right here, which is basically the most broken gun in the game. I would personally believe it's literally the god gun. It's the M4, and this is Dashy setup currently right now. And this is what I'm rocking on it. The light barrel, flash hider, angled grip, high velocity rounds, and skeleton grip. If you guys have been enjoying the content, have been enjoying the vibes, please like and sub. I greatly appreciate it. If you guys have not checked out our last video, it's gonna be right above me right here. And that's all for today. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.